everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Today we are going to talk about CSS, namely CSS grids, and a few other minor CSS questions that people usually ask, and I'd like to show like a few simple CSS techniques in this tutorial. So let's get started. As usually, the recording will be available in members area, and feel free to ask questions anytime in the chat, and I will answer these to the best of my knowledge. So let's get started. We start with a simple one table project in customers table, nothing special. I just built the project. And there was a question one of our customers asked, how can they change the color of the label of a checkbox on the edit page? Let me show you what they're talking about. So let's take a look at the label of longitude field. I right click on it, I choose inspect, and I'm showing my inspector right here. We can see it says this is the label tag, and inside that label tag it says LNG, longitude. So what do we need to do to make it change the color of this label or font or anything? So right in Object Inspector we can assign style. Let me dock it so we can see both at the same time. Let's do it this way. Yep, it is. So this is a LNG field, and let's see if we want to. First of all, we just want to assign a style manually, and while this label is still selected, to element style I am adding CSS color red. As you can see, the object inspector will suggest possible CSS attribute values and also possible values, and it will change immediately to red. So this is how we test it. Now we need to do make changes in the project itself, so it is applied to this specific label. So CSS is a very powerful language, not really language, the markup language, okay, not programming language. And using CSS, you can do lots of stuff, change visual appearance on basically all elements on the page. You can apply it to all labels. You can apply it to all labels on the specific page. You can apply it to a single label. Let's see what happens if we want to change all our labels to have red color. So we go to custom CSS area, in the style editor, and under modify CSS, we do a little bit CSS magic. We're doing label tag, and we do color. Let's do something different so we know it's working. Green. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it is. Label, color green. Very simple. Label is a standard tag, so we just type it as is. We click OK, build, and we go back to the web browser. We should see all labels being green. Reload the page. Yeah, all labels change to green. That's a start. Usually you don't want to do that for all of your labels, and maybe you want to do it conditionally or whatever your logic of your application is. So if you want to change it only for specific label, for our LNG field, we need to pick up CSS selector that is more specific, right? Let's take a look at this. It says that tag name is label, and it's also, there is attribute name for that has value of value underscore LNG underscore 1. This is a label that is specific to this field, and if you want to change attributes of this specific label, we need to narrow down the scope of our CSS, and this is how we do it. You may find that in many situations, CSS syntax is very similar to jQuery syntax. You also specify HTML tag, you specify the value of the attribute, and attribute name was 4, and it equals value LNG. That should be enough. That should change the value of LNG label to green. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, let's click OK, build. And go back to the web browser, reload it. And you can see all labels are back to black, and our LNG shows up as green. It's very simple. And sorry. So when you need to specify CSS for a single element, it's important that you pick up something that is specific to this element. For instance, in this case, the label attribute 4 is different for every field. For instance, if you right click on country label, choose inspect, and you will see that while CSS class is the same, a 4 value holds value underscore country underscore 1, meaning that it will be specific for this country tag, etc. So if you want to change CSS for something that is need to be applied to a single element, you need to pick something that is specific to this element, so it only applies to it. Okay, and just one more addition to this. If you want to change a label color dynamically, for instance, you want to attract the attention to a certain field dynamically based on values entered into the form previously, you can do it from JavaScript as well. Let me show you how to do it in JavaScript as well. Also very simple, just one line of the code. Okay, let's do it for the country label, for instance, right? This is how you can change it in the code. We switch to console, and the jQuery code looks basically the same. We targeting label tag and attribute 4 equals value underscore country underscore 1. So let's see. Yes, it is length 1, meaning that the selector is working and returns an object. And now we just need to, once we have this element, we need to call CSS method. First argument is name of CSS attribute, for instance, color again. And second attribute is the value of that color, which is red. Okay, we do it, and it's working. The color of label is changing to red.